Hey, good day, everybody. It's another Friday with Father Scott, and coming to you from a different location again within the house and sitting here. I inherited some furniture. When I moved in, I found that the house didn't have much, and just contacted a few folks and landed this chair from one of my friends in the parish, and he said this was the chair that his mother prayed her rosary in. So it's kind of become a little prayer chair for me as well. I keep my rosary here on the shelf with a lot of the books. So here we are, the second Sunday during the season of Lent, and we're going to take the gospel and go from there. Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them to a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice. "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone, but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord. It's always been a beautiful gospel story. I think this was the gospel chosen for one of my classmates' ordination, our first Mass. But anyway, it's a beautiful gospel, and there they are. And suddenly there's this magnificent change and a revelation to Peter, James, and John that something about Jesus is radically different, what it calls us to be about. And here we are in the great season of Lent, and we're reminded that because of our relationship as followers of Jesus, that we too are changed because of him, because of his great love for you and me, that we are changed. And not only do they realize suddenly that something quite remarkable about Jesus, he is the fulfillment of the law. And, suddenly Peter doesn't know really what to do, but let's stay up here on this mountain. Let's build a tent. And yet that's not what we're called to be about. We're called to take the message and go and walk with, knowing that he is with us in all of our endeavors. So during the second week of Lent, as we prepare to continue our prayer, our fasting, our almsgiving, we know that we've been changed because of God's tremendous love for us. And you and I would love to stay on the mountaintop. We would love to have that experience over and over and over again. But for us, we're called to travel back down the mountain and be about what we're called to be. And wherever we find ourselves, the works that we do, the jobs that we participate in, teacher, nurse, doctor, lawyer, we're called, as we build homes, as we, reach out to others, that's where we preach the gospel. So here we are, beautiful gospel story, and it calls us to something remarkable. And on this Friday too, this Friday evening, Archbishop Kurtz will be here, and he will be celebrating the sacrament of confirmation with our 8th graders. So I invite you at this time to keep all of the 8th graders in your prayer, and to think back to that day, that time when you were confirmed. Do you remember who confirmed you? For me, it was Bishop Maloney, not Archbishop McDonough. So not Archbishop Kelly or Archbishop Kurtz. Or maybe it was your pastor. I've been blessed to be allowed to do that a couple of times in my priesthood. So let's keep the eighth graders in our prayer. They're a remarkable group of young people. Mr. Bill Ash and myself, we meet with the classes along the way as they prepare for confirmation. It's always amazing to hear. I ask a series of questions. Why did you choose the name that you chose? Who's your sponsor? And what do you see in your sponsor that you want for yourself? And what gift of the Spirit do you think you need most at this time in your life? And then some of the fun questions. If you could be principal for a day in our school, what would you change? And how long have you been a student in our school? And that varies from, I came here in the 6th grade. I came here as a preschool student. Well, who was your favorite teacher? It's always amazing to hear what our 8th graders have to say and why. And so often there's a teacher that's always gets the most votes, if you will. But it's remarkable that across the board, every one of our teachers has been celebrated by a student. So pass that along as we prepare for confirmation. Keep them in prayer. And may they be changed in such a dramatic way that, wow, it's like our gospel today for this upcoming Sunday. So prayers, blessings to you. Let us remember to keep an eye out for our neighbors and friends. And until we meet again, God's blessing. Take care.